$1 million. For most people, that sounds like freedom. A paid-off house, no financial stress, no more worrying about bills, no more checking your bank account before buying dinner. Just freedom. But what if I told you that millions of people spend decades chasing that number only to discover it wasn't enough? Because the biggest lie in personal finance isn't that money doesn't matter. It's that more money automatically solves your problems, and that misunderstanding traps people for decades. So how does someone go from checking their bank balance every morning to building real wealth? And why do so many people who earn good money never get there? The answer has almost nothing to do with math, and almost everything to do with psychology. At first, the game looks simple. Work hard, earn more, save more, invest more, retire comfortably. That's the promise. The system sounds logical. Go to school, get a degree, find a stable career, buy a house, build a retirement account, repeat for 40 years. For generations, that formula worked reasonably well. But something changed. Housing became more expensive, education became more expensive, healthcare became more expensive, childcare became more expensive, almost everything became more expensive. Meanwhile, wages didn't always keep pace, and suddenly earning a good income didn't feel nearly as powerful as it once did. Then social media arrived, and it changed the game completely. Every day, people scroll through images of success, luxury apartments, sports cars, designer watches, entrepreneurs claiming they retired at 30, investors posting massive gains. Everyone appears rich. Everyone appears successful. Everyone appears ahead. And that's where the comparison begins, a dangerous comparison, because most people aren't comparing their lives to reality anymore. They're comparing their lives to highlights. The result? Financial anxiety, even among people doing perfectly fine. A person with savings feels poor. A person with investments feels behind. A person earning 6 figures feels unsuccessful, not because they're struggling, because somebody online appears to be winning faster. And when people feel behind, they start looking for shortcuts. The shortcut is always attractive. It promises speed. It promises certainty. It promises a faster escape. At first, the opportunities seem endless. A stock doubles. A cryptocurrency explodes. A startup becomes worth billions. A creator earns more in 1 year than a doctor earns in 10. Stories spread. Videos go viral. Everyone starts paying attention. Then excitement turns into belief, and belief turns into obsession. People begin to think wealth is supposed to happen quickly, that waiting is for people who lack ambition, that discipline is boring. The dream becomes irresistible. Maybe financial freedom isn't decades away. Maybe it's just one investment away, one trade away, one opportunity away. And that's exactly when the trap closes. Because what nobody realizes is that wealth and money are not the same thing. Money is income. Wealth is ownership. Money comes and goes. Wealth stays. Money pays bills. Wealth buys time. Money helps you survive. Wealth gives you options. The difference sounds small. It isn't. In fact, it changes everything. A person earning $70,000 can become wealthy. A person earning $300,000 can stay trapped. On paper, that sounds ridiculous. In reality, it happens every day. Because income solves today's problems, assets solve tomorrow's. And most people spend years chasing income while neglecting ownership. At first, nobody notices. Life improves. The apartment gets bigger. The car gets newer. The vacations become more expensive. The restaurant bills increase. Everything looks successful. Everything feels successful. But there is one problem. Every upgrade becomes a new baseline, and every baseline creates a new obligation. The mortgage, the car payment, the subscriptions, the lifestyle, the expectations. The higher the income climbs, the faster the treadmill moves. And what started as freedom slowly becomes maintenance. The person earning twice as much isn't necessarily twice as free. Sometimes they're simply carrying twice the financial weight. But this is only the beginning, Because eventually, something happens. A layoff, a recession, a market downturn, a health issue, a business slowdown. Something unexpected. And suddenly, the illusion disappears. The expensive lifestyle that looked impressive now feels fragile. The savings account isn't large enough. The investments were never diversified. The debt is bigger than expected. Questions start appearing, then more questions, then panic. Investors sell, consumers cut spending, businesses slow hiring. Confidence begins to crack. And confidence is far more important than most people realize. Because financial systems run on belief. People buy homes because they believe prices will hold. People invest because they believe growth will continue. Businesses hire because they believe customers will spend. But when belief weakens, everything changes. Suddenly, people stop asking how much they can make. They start asking how much they can lose. And those are very different questions. The stock market falls. The headlines become negative. Fear spreads faster than optimism ever did. People who felt fearless 6 months ago become terrified. Investments are sold. Plans are abandoned. Long-term goals disappear. Not because the fundamentals changed, because emotions did. This is where fortunes are quietly made and quietly lost. Not during the boom, during the panic. Because wealth is often transferred from the impatient to the patient. The people who survive these periods aren't always the smartest. They're usually the most disciplined. They built emergency funds. They avoided excessive debt. They diversified. They planned for uncertainty, while everyone else prepared for perfection. And perfection never arrives. That's the lesson most people learn too late. The goal isn't predicting the future. The goal is surviving it. Because survival creates opportunity. Every major financial success story contains the same hidden chapter. A period where nothing looked exciting. A period where progress felt slow. A period where discipline mattered more than talent. Nobody posts those years online. Nobody celebrates consistency. Nobody goes viral for investing every month for 20 years. But that's often where the real wealth is built. Quietly, patiently, almost invisibly. And eventually, something remarkable happens. Your money begins working harder than you do. The dividends arrive, the investments grow, the assets appreciate, the compounding accelerates. For years, it felt like nothing was happening. Then, suddenly, everything starts happening at once. The progress becomes visible, the options expand, the pressure decreases. Not because life became easier, because the foundation became stronger. And that's when the final realization appears. The number was never the goal. Not 100,000, not 1,000,000, not even 10 million. Those are milestones, not destinations. The real goal was always freedom. The freedom to choose, the freedom to wait, the freedom to say no, the freedom to spend your time the way you want. Because wealth isn't measured by what you own. It's measured by what you no longer have to do. And somewhere tonight, someone is checking their bank balance, wondering if they're behind, wondering if they'll ever get ahead, wondering if everyone else has figured out something they haven't. But almost every financially successful person started in exactly the same place. Uncertainty, doubt, mistakes, fear. The difference wasn't luck alone. The difference was consistency. They kept learning, they kept saving, they kept investing, they kept showing up, even when the results were invisible. Because wealth rarely arrives as a single event. It arrives as thousands of small decisions, repeated over years. Then one day you look back and realize the money wasn't the most important thing that compounded. You were. Your patience compounded, your knowledge compounded, your discipline compounded, and eventually your life did too. If this changed the way you think about money, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe. Because the biggest financial advantages in life are usually the ones nobody notices until it's too late.